everyone, it's Bridget Michelle with Remedy Bathhouse, and I just wanted to talk today a little bit about making soap. It's what I first started with, and in this video it's about soap making. So let's get started. Basically, I have here the recipe that I built in Soap Calc. If you go online to Soap Calc, there you'll be able to build a recipe with whatever oils and butters you'd like to use in your soap. I suggest everybody use a soap calculator of some kind to help you. An automated calculator that is going to help you build your soap recipe with ease. You can find others at brambleberry.com. There's one on wholesalesuppliesplus.com. They're always very, very helpful. This is a new recipe for me, and I'm showing you the Soap Calc sheets. So it's for the same exact recipe with slight variations in ingredients. What you're seeing me here do is just get my distilled water ready. I'm gloved up, ready to start the day and create. So here I'm measuring out my distilled water, and I'm gonna start to prepare my lye water and that's just basically, starting to prepare my lye water for soaping. I do that first as lye water does get very, very hot, and I like to soap at a little cooler temperature. By the time I mix my butters and oils together with this lye water, it would have been cooled down. So the soap making process is fun because you can mix many different things into soap and see all of the fun changes within each soap bar when it's cut. I love to create and change up the ingredients as you're building your soap recipes. You can use water discounts in soaping if you'd like, and I believe I did do that in this batch. I used a water discount. But I just want to caution you to be careful with water discounts because some scents cause your soaps to accelerate, which means it gets really thick really fast and it makes it difficult to pour. So when you're starting out making soap, I suggest that you don't do water discounts until you have some experience and you understand your fragrances and your batters. Nothing beats experience. You know a little bit more about what you do in soap on an acceleration incident. On my soap calculation recipe sheets, I try to make notes so that if there was something that went wrong, I have that available to reference later. So here in these batches, I'm going to do lye infusions. And so in these recipes, I'm infusing recipes with lavender buds. One has eucalyptus leaves, one has beet powder. And the third, I didn't infuse anything into the lye water of the fourth batch. So I just infused 3. So basically what you're seeing me here do is just label everything so I don't get anything confused. What does infusion mean? It means mixing ingredients into the lye water. And basically the lye water gets extremely warm, which in theory is infusing the water with the botanicals and natural oils of whatever you put in it. You want to make sure you get all of the good out of those botanicals so that when you put them into the water and the water heats up, it creates that infusion. Then basically I'm going to strain out that botanical matter in the soap itself. It's something new for me. I've never tried it before, and I wanted to test it out to see what it would do to my soaps as a whole. Keep in mind when you're using botanicals in soap, it causes your soap to discolor, and you never really can tell exactly what color it's gonna be at the end, basically, at the cut of the soap. So here I'm just measuring out the botanicals, and I'm using a paper bag to measure out the lye itself for each batch so that I can just pour it into the distilled water. And also because some of that lye powder does become airborne, and that paper bag kind of keeps those smaller particles inside the paper bag. So here you see me mixing that lye water. You must mix your lye water so they can dissolve. If you leave it alone, it will form a brick of lye at the bottom of your container, and it's not fun. Make sure that you always have some type of face covering also to protect your nose and mouth, because lye water is caustic and creates fumes as it dissolves. I set this lye water aside to cool after I've infused each of them, and I sped that up quite a bit and actually took some out because it did take a long time. And now I'm preparing my buckets, and I'll be measuring out my oils and butters. I am making 4 batches of soap, and so I'm measuring out 4 separate buckets of oils and butters. Each soap has the same amount of oil and butter, and each soap will have a different infusion of lye water or no infusion at all. Making soap takes a lot of time in that preparation, getting all your ingredients ready, making sure you have all your ingredients needed beforehand. All of that takes some time. If you do make individual batches at once, the way I did 4 separate individual batches, it does save a lot of time. For this business I've started, I often check to make sure I have everything I need prior to making my products. I spend a lot of time doing that, taking inventory, calculating inventory, all of that. And I have to make sure that I have enough products for any event that is planned for the month or for that quarter. Currently, I have an upcoming event, so I am in the planning stages, and I'm making all of the products that are low in stock. So on the agenda of my low stock was soap. And I would say that prepping for any event is time consuming and stressful. It can get overwhelming. You never really know how an event is going to go. Whether you've done that same event last year or not, you can't always guarantee a great turnout. So I go with an open heart. I go to learn. I go to talk to people, and I test out products. I give samples. I take notes. I meet other vendors. I try to make the most out of each event. And I'm going to tell you, it is hard on the body. You're standing all day. You're talking all day. It's time consuming, and it's not easy. Keep in mind, every product that you make must be labeled, jarred, shrink wrapped, priced, packaged. It's time consuming. For me, it's a lot of fun. That part isn't a lot of work. For me, that part is, I can do that with my family as we're watching a movie or something, and it's really easy. With soap itself, you must make your soap approximately 2 to 4 weeks ahead of time, leaving enough time for that soap to cure. So let's talk a little bit about what I'm doing here. I melted the oils and butters a little bit. I didn't melt them all the way, and I added the kaolin clay to the oil and the butter mixture, and then I added the sodium lactate for hardness of the bar. And you could use sugar as well. I've never used sugar, but it's an option. And some say it also contributes to bar hardness. I'm mixing everything together and breaking down all of the clumps of coconut oil, mango butter, incorporating the castor oil. This recipe also contains mica and the scent or essential oil. And if I didn't use mica, I used an oxide for the colorant. The lye infusion and the coloring of the soap is the last step of the process. Again, I take the emulsion blender to the oil phase to incorporate all of the ingredients into the oil phase. And I also do that so I don't have to overmix the batter once I add the lye water infusion. It helps if there is any acceleration. To leave the batter more fluid for pouring and for adding color, and it allows the batter to stay more fluid while the color is being added and mixed into the batter. A soaping tip. This is something that is very helpful and in soap making, that is to mix all the ingredients into your oil phase of your recipe, including any clay, scent, botanicals, salts, sugars, colloidal oatmeal, anything that you'd like to add to your soap in its entirety. Add it in your oil phase and mix that oil phase well before adding your water and lye, and mix everything smooth for a smoother process. I used to melt the oils and butters down completely until it was liquid, and then the oils would be very hot, 120 to 150 degrees sometimes, and that range was just too hot for soaping. I like to soap at a little lower temperature, so I just don't melt it completely and use the emulsion blender to quickly get everything ready. So 4 batches are being made here, and I've made soaps individually, meaning one batch at a time, where I measured out all the oils and butters did the lye, did the pour, all of that one batch at a time. And that seemed to be more time consuming. I needed to save time. And when you have business, you're looking for time wherever you can get it. Accomplishing more in less time is crucial. When you're first starting out, it's really difficult to find time for everything. I scented each batch by basically using a toothpick and putting it next to the bottle itself. And then I pour the scent down the toothpick into the batch, and that prevents it from dripping down the sides of the bottle. And I meant to show that part better, and my apologies, I didn't. Then I colored the bar, and now I'm doing the pour. And I always make sample sizes to give away in my customer orders. And those are what those little round bars are. Thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate it. This took hours and hours, and so I did this video. I sped everything up so it wouldn't take so long. But I appreciate you joining me. Have a good one.